we're back, part 3 of rebuilding my crashed Lamborghini Murcielago. And this little box will be the first of many and very expensive orders that we will be making to get this thing back on the road. What we want to accomplish in this episode is actually seeing if the engine is ruined, considering the engine for this car, the 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12 that this car is known for, is probably around $30,000.
What? They're way more than that now.
How much is it now?
60 grand?
60,000?
LP640, yeah. It would be a disaster if this engine's screwed, so.
Well, stick around and find out. You asked for these, I went and got these, I retrieved these.
What do we got?
Well, I believe they're oil filters.
Perfect.
Now, I want to know, they're from Lamborghini, but are they? No, they're not made by Lamborghini.
They're not made by Lamborghini.
Who are they made by? UFI?
I think that's like, you know, the Italian oil filter manufacturer.
How much were those? How much should they be?
Like 15, 20 bucks?
You got any guesses? How much do you think they were? Why are you laughing? What? How much were they?
$75 each.
That is called the Lamborghini tax. Okay, you guys, this naturally aspirated V12, it's a 6.5 liter. It is massive, and it's gonna take a lot of oil in order to see if this is capable of being started again.
Since those oil lines are open, the oil cooler was destroyed.
Yeah.
We don't know how much dirt got into the oil lines, into the engine. So we're gonna take the oil lines off. We're gonna spray them out with brake cleaner, clean them out. We made a little loop bypass. We're gonna put that on there. We're gonna put oil in it. We're gonna crank the engine over, not start it. We're gonna drain the oil, change the filter, put new oil in, a new filter on it, and then see if we can fire this thing up.
Sounds like a lot of work. Where are we going to get all this oil?
Sounds like a road trip to me, boys.
Yeah, road trip to where? Lamborghini's closed. Are we getting Lamborghini oil?
We are not getting Lamborghini oil.
Is there a difference?
Lamborghini does not make oil.
Oh, really? They're not in the...
Oh, interesting.
All right, let's go. We'll take the SVJ. You're taking the Squadra Corsa. What is that?
It's a battery. So which car costs less? Which car we should put this in? Dave?
Yeah, this one costs less, but this one is rarer.
Core charge. It's like 35 bucks for a core charge.
What are you a core charge for?
What?
I want that in my car for a core charge, putting battery acid over the trunk.
You want to take this just to have this charged for $35? Yeah, why don't we just buy a new battery?
All right, let's get a new one.
We'll take it out of Dave's salary. Cold start. Sorry, neighbors. Hey, fancy meeting you here.
What's up, love, bro?
You think our doors are gonna hit, huh? Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa! Near miss. Let me close that for you.
Thank you. Oh.
Whoa! We have a lot of oil, sir. We specifically got motor oil.
Motor oil.
Sounds good. Now look, I'm no engine builder or maintenance guy. I'm the guy that likes to drive the Lamborghini, and we're trying to get that car back so I can do that. Mike does build cars. Why are there so many engine oils?
So basically the numbers mean how thick the oil is. It's the viscosity of the oil. So that's over a different heat range. So cold to hot, how thick the oil is. So it gets really hot, it gets thinner. It's cold outside, the oil is thicker. And that's the range that the oil will basically change through its heat.
Okay, another question, real quick. Just for everybody maybe wondering this. There's high mileage, there's advanced, there's full synthetic. Is this marketing?
A lot of it is marketing.
Okay, copy that.
Some of it is additive. So they do change the additives. Sometimes in the high mileage stuff, they'll put stuff that'll bring the rubber seals kind of back to life. So you have crankcase seals and all these gaskets that kind of dry out. And this will help kind of rejuvenate it, kind of make them back into rubber.
And for this Lamborghini, why are we using this?
This is super basic, non-synthetic. And the reason we're getting this is because it's cheap. And we're gonna use this oil for about 30 seconds.
And then we're gonna put synthetic oil in?
Then we'll put something a little better, but still, the oil that we put in the car today to get it running is gonna be in the car for maybe 100 miles, maybe 50 miles at the most.
Yeah.
Just to kind of clean everything out, make sure the car gets running. We're gonna do an oil cooler bypass, right? So once we put a cooler on there and we get it all running, it's gonna go to the body shop, all this stuff. Like, we'll change oil.
What's meant to be in this car at the end of the day?
A synthetic 540.
540.
Got your present.
What'd you
It's
get me?
actually really funny.
Okay.
Open your eyes.
Yeah. No.
Gated keychain.
Dude, that looks just like the Murcielago.
Kind of grinds like yours too.
That is cool. And there's only 2 of them. We're gonna buy both because it is rare.
Yeah.
That's the difference. V10 versus V12. V12 noises. Listen. Now listen. Little different.
A little bit different.
We're back with the supplies and we're about to find out, will my gated Murcielago start? But before we get to that, an Italian supercar rebuild does call for an Italian feast. And Dave went to the great length of ordering a family-style Italian dinner.
Italian rebuild, Italian dinner, Damon digging, this was $300.
You got some meatballs in the belly, you're happy. What is step one of potentially getting the oil through here? You said you need to crank it, but not turn the vehicle on. Why is that?
I don't want it to fire up. So all the oil lines are empty, basically.
Okay.
So we're gonna drain whatever oil's left in the dry sump tank and in the bottom of the engine, get all that old oil out of there. Tim's putting the battery in. We're gonna put our little oil cooler bypass pipe on there. These are the fittings from the oil cooler. One of them was already ripped off. I ripped the other one off, put them in the lathe,
You
machined
cut
them
these
down.
off and welded this on? He makes everything look so easy. Yeah, I just made, this is really light. Like it almost feels like plastic.
Yeah, it's a thin aluminum tube.
That's crazy. Look at that. Tim, that looks good. Shiny new battery in there. What were you saying, Mike?
Let's see some oil come out of here. Here we go.
Mike, what are you doing?
I got it.
Almost fumblaya.
This is not a drain pan I'm used to using.
Mike's into wet work.
That's also probably not going to hold the amount of oil that's about to come out of that.
That's a 16 quart.
It 100% looks like it's filling up. I'm not going to lie.
top of here.
Dude, hold on, look. It's legit filling up. You don't look nervous.
I can stop it.
Fair enough.
Dave, stick your finger in the hole.
No, wrong hole, wrong hole. What is, oh, that's just air from it falling.
Yep.
Mike,
It just makes
we
me
need
so
those
nervous.
fancy ones on wheels that rolls around.
Yeah.
Whoa. I saw it happening.
Low.
You all right, bro?
Do you want to talk about it?
How's the oil look, Mike?
Blind in one eye now.
Oil's all right. Oil looks pretty good, actually.
What did I hit? This or that?
I think this solid
This?
part. Did he?
Yeah, it fell rounded.
Okay.
That would have hurt more.
Or something. Like, we were planning on going like this. It's like you.
Okay, step one, we will be inspecting the oil for any type of like metallic flakes. That would be a sign that obviously there's been some metal breakdown inside the engine, and that would be step one of probably not a good sign.
Yeah, and also right now we're looking at how much oil is actually coming out of the engine, and quite a bit. That's good news also. That means that it didn't sit there and run and pump all the oil out. Hopefully everything's okay. We can put some fresh oil in it, change the filter out, and we can fire this thing up.
Dry sump, dry check. There's actually not much in that, which is interesting.
Yeah, when the engine is running, it'll pump all the oil out of the engine into the dry sump tank. But a lot of times when the car sits, the oil from the dry sump tank will feed back through the oil pump and back into the oil pan, basically.
No kidding. It looks like a beer keg. Whoa. What is this? That's very metallic, isn't it?
It is, and it's pretty milky.
Now I'm getting concerned.
That was in here?
Yeah, it was on the bottom of the dry sump oil tank.
Are we making
makes no
concrete?
sense.
That looks like clay.
Yeah, it's pretty odd. I'm not sure what that is.
I
'Cause
feel
there's
like that's like grease.
It's like a milky kind of,
Holy crap. Whoa.
yeah, it's pretty weird.
Uh-oh.
But it's just at the bottom of the drain, so it wasn't cycling through the car.
Yeah, it's just down in the bottom. The oil itself looks clean.
So do you know what it might be? So this tank was full of metal shavings from the engine blew and they had to clean it. So when they were cleaning it, they may have used something.
How long was it in between since the engine blew, it got cleaned, and then it got crashed? Like no oil changes?
A year now.
Yeah, this actually looks like it was running. It created that condensation and it kind of just gathered there in the bottom. But
What do
there's
you
not
think,
enough
Nick?
of it.
What do you think?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mark?
Yeah, I think that a little bit of water got.
Eric? What do you think, Tim?
I like milkshakes.
So we are taking this oil cooler bypass loop that I made, and we're gonna put it in between these two lines. So this line is coming from the bottom of the engine. There's actually multiple oil pumps inside of the engine. So this one's pumping the oil out of the engine through a cooler, which we're gonna bypass, and then into the top of the dry sump tank. In the dry sump tank tank, there's multiple layers of screens and baffles that basically get all the air out, and the oil comes down to the bottom, and then there's another line on the backside of the tank that goes back into the engine to another pump, and that pumps it into the bearings.
The best part about working on Lamborghinis is they're not always convenient. So you have to get a little creative when you want to start doing things like just simply putting the oil in it. Let's show these people where the oil is, the oil filler. It's in the corner underneath this ledge, crammed by the window. How inconvenient is that?
Whoever designed that, I'm pretty upset with. Terrible.
Luigi! Quite the contraption going on here, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, if we get oil all over the engine.
You don't need the big, yeah, that might work.
All right, there we go. I know what I'm doing, even if I don't look like it.
All right, here you go, dump that in.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem.
You're taller, you got a better reach. When I'm over there, I can't even see.
How many of these do you have to put in?
I think we need to put 13.
Oh, you're gonna be there for a hot minute, Mark. Hey, last one. Good job, guys. Man, your hands are oily. God. All right, step next. What step next? Next step?
Next step.
I am dyslexic.
Step next. You're excited about this.
I'm very excited about this. I cannot wait to hear the 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12 shoot a flame into your toolbox. I'm actually not joking.
All right, so I'm gonna try to figure out how to basically disable the fuel. So I don't want it to
Disable the fuel?
Yeah, either turn off the fuel pumps or disconnect the fuel injectors so we can crank the engine over, get all of those lines that have been drained of oil, filled back with oil, get oil in the engine, get oil in the bearings. Once everything looks good there, then we'll pull the filter, drain the oil, do this again.
And then start it.
Don't
go anywhere. Is it destroyed? Is all this work and all this fancy oil, actually the first bit of oil wasn't fancy, but the fancy oil, was it all waste my time and money? And well, we're about to find out. It would really suck if we turn this over. What would be the first sign that there's something wrong with the engine? Clunking?
Possibly weird sounds as we're cranking it, uneven sounds. So if we hear something like it's struggling to turn over, that could be an issue. You know, it's sat for a long time. There's a lot of possibilities.
Here's a situation. We want to start it, but not start it. We want to turn it over. There's a few ways of doing that. Pull a crank sensor wire. I know that because mine failed once by mercy. The car broke down while I was driving it. Or disconnect the fuel pump. So it'll turn over, but not turn over. Did you get that right?
It'll crank over, but it won't start.
Yeah, it'll turn over, but it won't turn over.
Exactly.
No turnover.
Yeah, no Apple turnovers.
But it's gonna start.
Trying to find a way right now to hit the fuel pump. There's probably a fuse too, isn't there, Tim?
Probably. So I don't know these cars at all. I know how cars work, and I know that this is what we need to do. We're looking at the injector plugs. We can get the injectors, but it's gonna be a pain to unplug 12 injectors. There's part of the fuel tank there. There's 2 wires going into it, but that could be like a level sending unit. We wanna make sure that we get this right because we don't want the car to start up right now. We wanna be able to crank it over, build the oil pressure, flush the oil system out. So let's see if we can find this thing.
My technique's being used. We're gonna pull some fuses. Just pull them all, including the ABS.
Get them all.
He's back. Here, Brian. He's there again.
How's it going?
Good. We're gonna pull some fuses.
You guys alone for 2 seconds. But what are you doing?
We're gonna rip the interior out and turn this thing into a race car.
I'm actually kind of down for that. The purists would absolutely hate us.
We're very, very close.
You can turn the airbag off. This car comes with a special key just for that.
We have an ECU one.
We need that.
Well, maybe not though. Maybe it'll still crank over. So some cars will still crank over without the ECU power.
If the engine happens to be ruined in any way, shape, or form, the $60,000 to have to buy another one really probably could make this whole project a waste of time, which would mean that the deal I made with insurance to get this car back with a smaller amount of money because I chose to repair it ourselves here in-house versus having the insurance company rebuild the car where the engine was blown or any other things that they weren't expecting, they would be liable and have to cover it anyhow. So I'm taking a huge risk here, you guys. A huge risk. Because if this engine starts and there's a major problem, this could be the end of the line. How you guys doing? More fuse panels?
More fuse panels.
Man, they're everywhere in this car, aren't they? What'd you find down here? Is this like the main one or?
There's actually 4. Yeah, so.
In the interior?
Yeah.
Why?
I have no idea.
Wow, that's so bizarre. So what's this one all about?
All right, so we've got some fuses here and we've also got the relay. So we're just gonna pull the relay for the fuel pump for this side and for the other side. So there's 2 separate fuel pumps. They basically break the engine down in 2 6-cylinders. That's 1 through 6 cylinder pump. That's 7 through 12 cylinder pump. So we pulled those both out now and we can pull out the ignition on both sides also. So no spark, no fuel, and we crank this thing over.
What happens if something goes wrong because when you pull these, it doesn't go to plan?
I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that it just won't let us crank it over.
He thinks that'll be the worst thing. We're about to find out. We got light on the door, right there. Real smooth. There it goes. Oh, dude, we have to. Oh. Oh. I don't think I've ever been this nervous. Like, potentially shaking. It's not from the 2 energy drinks. Holy crap, Mike.
Let's see.
What are we gonna do?
All right.
Here, crank it. We can jump in it.
I'm gonna jump in, crank it. Tim, why don't you watch the oil cooler lines and everything and make sure there's no oil leaking out of the bottom? Ready.
So on initial crank, what are you noticing? Anything good or bad? Or
So I'm watching the oil pressure gauge here, and I want to crank it until I see oil pressure, and I'll probably crank it a little more to circulate the oil. But I think it's starting to come up.
Oh, it moved.
Yeah, it's going up.
Oh, it's almost up to what? 6 bar?
6 bar. Yeah.
Oil pressure.
Oil pressure is good. Now we're gonna check all the lines, make sure nothing's leaking back there. Tim's back there actually watching right now, so he'd be yelling at me.
No oil?
No oil.
Don't lie to us. Don't lie to me.
We're good.
I like how you flash a light in his face. Where have you been? Mark's such a cop. Dude, this is exciting.
All right, we got oil pressure. So
Oh, dude, it's alive.
It's all so close.
almost.
Yeah.
I mean, the engine honestly sounds really good right now.
Yes.
Very smooth and even. You don't hear any like hiccups, not doing anything weird. So high hopes.
Oh my gosh, this interior definitely needs a clean.
It does. I kind of felt dirty getting into it.
It's really in a sad state. That'll be a whole nother video. We do probably need to detail this sooner than later. And the really disappointing part is the body shop we sent it to for the estimate, you would call it, they left this outside. That's really a whole nother video. I don't want to get into it right now, but this is really upsetting because when this car was in the accident, the interior was beautiful and perfect. You have to do now?
Drain the oil again. So remember all that oil we just put in?
Yeah.
I got to drain it all out now.
And then we're gonna put in the
better oil.
The better oil. All right, guys, I know this seems tedious, but it is definitely needed. Mike and Tim are doing their best to make sure that as long as the engine is not got any issues, that it stays that way. Stay with us. We're almost at the finish line. I think we're about to hear this car fire up on all 12 cylinders. And oil's in.
Oil's in.
Now what? Yeah, I guess plug all those things back in.
Already plugged them back in.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Filters changed, oil's in, ready to fire this thing up.
let's go. Let's go.
This is a big thing.
Fingers crossed.
This is a big thing. I am nervous.
This car has not ran for 14 months. Sheesh. Sheesh. Say it again, Mark. Sheesh. Sheesh.
I'm nervous.
Say it again, Eric. Sheesh. Wow.
Bro.
Sheesh. All right. Are you ready? Who's ready? This is how big this moment is. All jokes aside, you guys, we put up a GoPro here, we have a GoPro on the dash, and we have 2 extra cameras because we want to do this for the first time. We don't want to do this where it's like a redo. We have not tested if this car is actually going to turn over and fire up. I want to be as real as possible throughout this entire build process.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's got the typical Mercy. Beep, 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 beep.
Mobile ES is fired up there.
Oh, hold on, it's got an engine light on.
Yeah, Mike. Oh yeah.
I'm just joking. All right, you ready?
All right, let's see.
Oh my God.
Guys ready?
Yes.
It might take a few cranks because there's probably no fuel pressure, but let's see. That's amazing. What a moment. No leaks? Oh, you can see it vibrating from the pulsing.
Dude,
Man.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
This is my baby.
It fired right up too. Amazing.
Oh, She's alive, you guys. Super excited. Thank you to Mike, Tim. But don't go anywhere because we're not done yet. We're gonna take the wheel, we're gonna put the wheel on, and for the very first time in 14 months, my absolute dream car is going to touch the ground and we're gonna drive it. Don't go anywhere. And those are not light.
They're not.
This is it. This is the moment. It's going to touch the ground. It can actually start up and drive away under its own power. I'm honestly kind of lost for words at the moment. This is where you get kind of actually a bit of an emotional moment. I don't like to share that on camera because I like to look tough, so I'm gonna turn the camera off.
Emotional damage.
What the hell?
And the moment's over.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yes! So excited. It's crazy. By the way, check this out. That's the TC button. Watch on the dash. That means the TC's off. Yeah, I am.
These floors are $60,000, by the way.
That was so worth it. Thank you so much. Like, honestly, you guys have completely made my dream a reality way sooner than I thought it was going to happen, Tim. Did you get the skid? Did you get the skid? And thanks for putting oil in.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a Frankenstein at the moment, but it drives under its own power. It drives actually pretty straight from what I can tell from those couple of burnouts I did. I got a little carried away, a little messed up, but I don't think too messed up to maybe take this thing for a drive. Stay tuned in the next episode. Smash the subscribe button. I think it's drive-through worthy. Next video, we're going to Starbucks.
E-gear swap it.
Did you say what?
The only one that did it.
Bro,
One.
bro, these guys have been up way too late.